had to go through it at 135, 140, 147. It ain't no different from 154.
The national treasure. Terence Crawford has closed all the doors that could take him back to 147 division. Could it really be due to the fact that he's scared of Jaron Boots Ennis? Just recently, Terence "Bud" Crawford cemented his stay in the super welterweight division, despite severe reprehension for his lackluster performance in the recent outing. World Boxing Organization, WBO, has also confirmed in recent documents that they are stripping Terence's belt because of his weight jump. Terence Crawford had this belt on his waist since 2018, when he demolished Jeff Horn 2018 at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. Crawford still holds the WBA belt, but he will likely vacate that soon. It was expected that Terence would be stripped of this belt. No one knew it would happen that fast. In the case of Floyd Mayweather, the Boxing Council showed great flexibility and allowed him to keep junior middleweight and welterweight simultaneously. The organization started the discussions by appreciating Bud for his recent performance and issued a paper from its office in San Juan, Puerto Rico. On August 3, 2024, WBO welterweight champion Terence "Bud" Crawford accomplished another milestone in his exceptional professional career by winning a WBO World Championship title in his fourth weight class by defeating then-world champion Israil Madrimov via unanimous decision. This bout was conducted at the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, California, United States of America. After that, the WBO mentioned in this paper that they had given 10 days to Crawford to make his mind up. He could either come back to the 147 division and make a fight with Jaron Ennis, or vacate his belt for jumping up to chase more glory. Bud Crawford had a discussion with the WBO president Paco Valcarcel, where the tough guy from Omaha has clarified that he has no intention to move back to the welterweight division. Hence, WBO had to make a decision which turned out to be a lottery for Bob Arum and Top Rank promotion. The next part of the letter was, conversely, in light of Crawford's world title pursuit in a fourth weight category, the WBO approved an interim championship in the welterweight division between the first two available world-rated contenders in Giovanni Santillan and Brian Norman Jr. on May 18, 2024 at the Pechanga Arena in San Diego, California, United States of America. After 10 competitive rounds, Brian Norman Jr. won via KO in round 10 and became the WBO interim welterweight champion. The organization has given a great shout-out to Terence Crawford for his departure from welterweight and highlighted his biggest achievements, like his perfect professional record of 41-0, two-division WBO undisputed world champion titles, and the status of pound-for-pound king. The Ring magazine has also obtained the ruling of the top officials of the World Boxing Organization, which stated that their president has received an official communication from Terence Crawford. Terence has also confirmed his decision that he will no longer stay in the welterweight division and wishes to pursue a career in higher weight classes. WBO Championship Committee Chairman Luis Batista Salas, who has signed the papers of Bud's termination, confirmed this ruling to the Ring. Brian Norman Jr. is elevated from interim champion to full champion status in the WBO welterweight division, with the rights conferred by such designation. So, Brian Norman Jr. is the new talk of the welterweight division after Terence's departure. Crawford has recently dethroned WBA 154-pound title holder Israil Madrimov on August 3rd in Los Angeles. The fight also came with the interim WBO junior middleweight title at stake. It is clear that he will remain at 154 or above, and that his days are just about done at welterweight. Norman was over the clouds when he heard this. In pure joy and delight, he posted his desire to shake the division and reposted this thread on X, official WBO welterweight champion. His promotional company Top Rank was also very happy with Norman's inclusion in the elite world champion club of Vasyl Lomachenko and Artur Beterbiev. They posted an official message and paid tribute to the 23-year-old boxer. Congrats to Norman, who has been elevated from interim status and is the new WBO welterweight world champion. They have also teased the fans by adding an ambiguous message which stated, "Title defense number 1 is coming soon." Brian Norman Jr. as the WBO world champion is great news, especially after his brutal victory over Giovanni Santillan. Showbiz the Adult, who is a famous boxing streamer and comic, has made some crazy analysis of this decision. First of all, he applauded the youngster for his recent performance in the ring by calling him a true gladiator. However, he showed great disappointment with how the WBO performs his obligations. Showbiz highlighted the point that Terence, being the champion at 147, should have fought Sebastian Fundora instead of Israil Madrimov. He voiced these concerns. "I do have some questions on the whole WBO loophole. How does that work? When you are the WBO welterweight champion and you move upward, You immediately become mandatory to the guy who holds the WBO title at 154. Well, that's Sebastian Fundora. If Sebastian doesn't satisfy his mandatory at 154, he should have been stripped. He also highlighted Brian Norman Jr.'s claim to fame and his sparring sessions with Terence Crawford and Tank Davis. Brian had some serious altercations in the gym with these two superstars. When he was asked about which boxer hits more vicious punches, Brian gave a detailed insight into the fighting styles of both fighters and concluded that Tank's pouches were much harder to absorb than Terence Crawford's. He expanded his narrative and said,
when I sparred Terence Crawford, so I was 20 years old at the time. So it's like he was trying to man me, like, I'm gonna show you a little boy type stuff. But like what you just said, so I'm mature for my age. So, you know, so that's why we evened out. Well,
right.
Even a little boy me now. And like, even when you see him fight for real, he don't necessarily one-shot people, but when he do, it's when he already broke it down in 10 rounds and stuff like that, so he just beat you up, and then he kill you, or whatever.
Right.
So, but as far as one shot, who got it, I gotta get that to Tank.
Brian Assassin Norman Jr. is a relatively fresh face, but he has a reputation for being a true gladiator. The 23 years old from Conyers has been unbeatable in 26 bouts with 20 knockouts. There will be a lot of fighters right now who will be looking for a chance to square off against him, but the most suitable match at this time is British challenger Conor Benn. In a recent show of Top Rank Promotions, Brian highlighted more about his upcoming bouts. I would definitely love to fight Conor Benn. You see his line of work, you see my line of work. Actually, just like Giovanni, I'd love to go to the UK and fight him over there. I know he's banned, but they can release him from the ban just for this fight. And they can ban him after that. Please let it happen. Let me throw against him. He is also trying on another opponent, even bigger than Conor. He wants to give a shout out of his WBO title to Teofimo Lopez. He said further in the discussion, I'll definitely take that fight against Teofimo. I'm being normal. It's not far from normal. I love the game. I love to fight. You feel me? Alternatively, Teofimo Lopez is also fighting under Bob Arum's esteemed Top Rank promotion. He is currently fighting at 140 pounds and is more than happy about the possibility of jumping up to 147 for an instant title shot to Brian Jr. Since Top Rank is already notorious for rolling these world titles between their own fighters, it seems like a makeable matchup. Other than Teo, Top Rank doesn't have anyone else to offer him in the division. Before the WBO title, Crawford was also stripped of the IBF title for failure in pursuing against Bout versus Jaron Boots Ennis. The ruling came when Crawford informed IBF that he had a rematch clause with Errol Spence. That fight never took place, nor Terence has ever entered the ring. Ennis was elevated as the title holder, and he recently defeated David Avanesian to defend the belt. Jaron Ennis has called out Terence Crawford on multiple occasions. He created this act after finishing David Avanesian. I want the big names. Terence Crawford, anybody else can get it. Let's make it happen. Jaron has shown disappointment with Terence's attitude and ridiculed him for his ducking. Currently, he is eyeing on becoming unified at 147, so there is a strong chance that we might see him squared off against Norman. However, he will always regret that he couldn't make a fight with Bud.
That's the fight that everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so.
I understand it, but don't lie or cap to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So
Right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, but don't be capping on the net.
Another big update from this week regarding Terence is Turki Alalsheikh's visit to Virgil's fight against Serhii Bohuchak. He had a great time there, mingling with the Golden Boy fighter, where he discussed his plans.
You're ready today. Next, we want Crawford.
We wanted to.
Yeah, we want, of course. Yeah, we want it. I come for this deal.
That's right. Yeah. Nice. Beautiful.
His Excellency Turki Alalsheikh has completely overturned the scenario of American boxing. Turki has also explained why he scratched the Canelo versus Terence chapter for the Golden Book of boxing's history. He was a firm supporter of Terence's fight with Canelo, but he couldn't absorb Canelo's response to his offers. The prince concluded, I don't start to talk about these things. He, Canelo, started it by saying that he doesn't like what we are doing in boxing. That's why I said what I said, and I mean it. If he was a wise guy, he would understand the message. And if the ego takes him, let him in his way. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford is completely off from the limelight to properly recover from his last fight. He hasn't completely marked his opponent, but is aware of Turki's negotiations with Golden Boy. He has given his opinion about sharing the ring with Virgil in the past, but he is uncertain about this fight.
But you mentioned Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz. How far is he away? How close is he to a title shot in sharing the ring with Bud Crawford?
I don't know, but Virgil, he's right there. He's right there. He's been proven
that he belongs with the top fighters in the division. And, you know, who knows, a couple of fights or next fight or whatever the case may be, he might be sharing the ring with Terence Crawford. You never know.
Just like Terence, Paulie Malignaggi is also unsure of how this fight will turn into reality. He has raised questions about De La Hoya's attitude towards this fight and commented that Oscar is skeptical about this fight because Virgil is Oscar's main fighter after the horrible demise of Ryan Garcia. The whole world saw him troubled against Serhiy Bohachuk. Paulie thinks that there is no way Virgil could outperform Terence Crawford. Paulie doesn't see this fight happening in the near future. Paulie also thinks that Virgil's fight against Terence Crawford will be disastrous for his career and Golden Boy Promotions. He proposed a much better and more exciting matchup for Virgil. He wondered about the boxing media's rooting for Virgil vs. Terence and completely sidelining of Serhiy, and concluded, nobody is glamoring in the media about Virgil's rematch where half the population thinks that Bohachuk won. This was the fight of the year candidate. The Bohachuk vs. Ortiz rematch will be a much better fight than Ortiz vs. Crawford anyway. There's no way it's going to entertain the way Bohachuk entertained and would entertain again. Ortiz vs. Bohachuk 2, that's the fight to make next. Paulie's fellow analyst and former world champion Tim Bradley has slightly disagreed on this note. Tim also has some reservations about the results of Virgil's rematch and demands a rematch. Although he has some problems with Virgil's attitude of considering himself unbeatable, he has no hesitation in Terence's fight with Virgil. He gave his realistic analysis of this possible matchup. Virgil is a fantastic fighter, and he fought as hard as he could till the end. He got the decision, however. Many of us that were watching felt that Bohachuk won the fight. So what would I do? Run it back. That's what I do. However, fighters, they are going to follow the money. If a Terence Crawford fight is materialized for Virgil Ortiz, he will not pass it up, and I don't blame him. Do you want to know why? Because the money is too damn good. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, how do you see Terence's future after the August 3rd fight? Is he fighting against Virgil Ortiz, or he decides to wait for the Fundora versus Spence winner? Too much nonsense in the welterweight division. How do you see it coming? Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to give your positive feedback in the comments.